Hey guys, Michael Wilson here. Welcome to the Freedom for All Inner Circle. In today's Inner Circle, we're going to be talking about. Michael Wilson here. Welcome to the Freedom for All Inner Circle. One second, guys. Having a little bit of trouble here with audio. Sorry about that. So we're going to be talking about how to create freedom for your sales team. So some of the things that you can put in place to create freedom, and some of the automation you can put in place. But before we get started, Processology is all about realizing your dream of both freedom and success in your business through creative processes and automation that save you time and make you bank. So guys, everything that we do for our new members, welcome to the Freedom for All Inner Circle. Let me switch over the camera so you guys can see me here a little bit. So everything that we do is to help entrepreneurs create freedom and success in their business, right? So we want to create freedom for you, freedom for your employees, so that you have the time to live life and do the things that you want to do as far as living your big dream, right? So you can take the trip, spend the time with your family, and do everything. Our goal is to break the chains of entrepreneurship. And we're doing that through creative processes and automation. So today we're going to be talking about a few things. So some of the things that we're going to talk about, again, creating freedom for your sales team. We're going to be talking about how to automate your customer follow-up, some of the things you want to think about when you're doing that, as well as automating the task creation. So what I mean by when I say task creation, so there's things that your customers need to do. Maybe they need to make a phone call, maybe they need to send out an email, maybe they need to actually schedule a meeting with a customer. So instead of them manually having to do that, we can automate within your process so that at a certain stage inside of the customer lifecycle, that task is automatically created and assigned to the sales person. So the other thing that we'll talk about as well is automating your sales pipeline. So automating how the customer is moving through the pipeline based off of actions they're taking or actions your sales team is taking. Next thing is going to be automating proposals. So some of you may not send out proposals, some of you may, but I thought it was something important to talk about, is how you can put some automation in place that's going to help you move, when a customer is ready for a proposal, once you create the proposal and send it off, what happens after that? How do you follow up with the customer? How do you know when they sign the proposal? Are you using e-sign? Are you manually having signatures? Are you actually meeting the client in person? What's going on with it, right? So we want to make sure we're tracking that. We know where we're at in the proposal stage. Are you in the negotiation stage? Do you need to renegotiate? Maybe the customer didn't like the first proposal. So there's a few things that we can put in place to automate to try to help with that and make sure that we're staying on top of it. So the next thing is going to be tools. So we're going to talk about some of the tools that you can use. If you don't already have a system in place, a CRM or some type of automated software you can use for automation, we'll talk about some tools that are really good, some tools that we use here for ourselves and our clients. I'm going to talk about keeping it simple, right? So sometimes we have this tendency to overthink things and we put too many stages in our process and we make it super complicated and it doesn't need to be. So we talk about keeping it simple, keeping it clean, that way everything runs smoothly, efficiently, and you can get your customer from the start line to the finish line without any confusion, and something that is going to be a predictable process. So we're going to jump into all that, but let's go ahead and go into our Processology formula and talk a little bit about that. So within the Processology formula, you guys have watched the previous episodes, or if you're just coming in, I'll go through this again. We talk about a few different stages. So the Processology formula is going to consist of 6 stages. We're talking about attract, right? So this is going to be how you're going to attract your customers, how you're attracting your leads. Then your offer, how are you offering your product to your customer? Deliver, how are you delivering that product to your customer? Impress. So once you deliver your product, you still want to impress your client, right? You want them to say, wow. You want them to say, that was impressive. Like, wow, they went the extra mile. So how are you doing that with your customers? Are you doing it at all? Maybe you're not actually, maybe you don't have a process in place that is in place to impress your customers. So you want to make sure that you implement that into your current processes so that your customers are getting that wow factor when they deal with your business, right? Because you want them to talk about you. In the next stage, we're talking about mood, right? We want to know how they feel. Are they fantastic? Are they happy? Are they sad, right? Maybe something went wrong. Maybe they didn't like the service. That's important to know because I would prefer the customer tell me that they didn't like the service and give me an opportunity to fix it than to go on, Google and do a review or Yelp or something like that and put a bad review because that's gonna really hurt your business. So you want to make sure that you're asking your customer, what do you feel like, right? We don't read minds, we don't know, we want to understand our customers' feelings and emotions when it comes to interacting with our company. So the last one is going to be refer. So refer is important, right? Because we want to attract more customers. So what's the best way to do that? Word of mouth, right? Getting from somebody that's already worked with you and had an amazing experience, right? Their mood is fantastic. They're the best person to ask for a referral because when they talk to their friends and they're in their network, right? Their tribe, they're gonna talk you up. They're gonna say great things about your company. It's like having an outside sales team for you, right? They're selling it for you almost as if you're paying them to do it. So you definitely want to make sure why they're happy or fantastic. You're asking for a referral. Maybe there's somebody in mind. Maybe they just haven't thought to send them your way. Whatever that may be. So that's a very important stage within the Processology formula to make sure that you are bringing in revenue on a consistent basis. So typically inside of these Freedom for All circles, we take one area or we'll talk about multiple areas. Today we're going to be talking about your sales team. So in this case, we're mostly talking about offer, right? So we've already attracted the customer. They've already showed interest in our product. And now we're going to talk about how we're going to offer our product to our customer and how to make that easy for your employees, your sales team. So guys, again, we're going to go over some of this stuff. We're going to talk about automating customer follow-up. So let's go ahead and look into that. So when it comes to automating customer follow-up, this can be really simple or it can be complicated. It just really depends on where you're at in your business and what is required of your business. So follow-up can be very simple. If you need to be reminded, hey, make a phone call. Send an email to the customer asking them how they feel, right? So you may want to have something where a customer fills out a form showing interest and then you reach out to them immediately. Hey, I want to jump on a call with you. I got your inquiry about learning more about our services. What's a good time for me to call you, right? So you might want to send that email out right away. Then you may want to say, okay, if I haven't talked to them within 24 to 48 hours, I want to send another email to them with a link to my calendar that says, hey, what's a great time that works for you, right? I would say with most sales teams, right, time is important. So for that first email that you went out, you may want to even call them at the same time. Give them a call and say, hey, I see that you show some interest. Do you have some time to talk right now? Because you want to get them while it's hot. But if they don't answer, right, what happens? A lot of times they kind of fall through the cracks, or you want to make sure that you have something in place that is reminding you, and even beyond remind you, that is actually following up for you, right? So just to kind of give an example of that, and we can actually draw this out a little bit. So let's say you have a client that goes to your website, right, and then they're going to fill out a form. Right, so the client fills out this form, what happens, right? So maybe as soon as that form is filled out, you want to send them an email, right? So we're going to go ahead and send them an email, and then we're going to create, let's say we're going to create a task. And guys, please forgive my drawing. So we're going to create a task, and we want to call them. So let's go ahead, create a task to call them. So as soon as they fill out that form, we're going to send them an email confirming, hey, we got your information. What's a good time for us to talk? But we're going to go ahead and give them a call right away as well. So we're going to set a task for our sales team to call this customer. But two things are going to happen when you make that call, right? So one, they may answer, right? So let's go ahead and say they pick up, right? So they answer, great. They pick up that call. Sales team talks to them, and hopefully they can close the deal the first time, right? That's how we want it to work out at least. But in a lot of cases, they're not going to pick up, right? So let's just say no, they didn't actually pick up. So if they didn't pick up, what's going to happen here? So in a lot of cases, what we do is we go and we create email notification, or maybe we don't do anything. Maybe a lot of us, we put it in our mind and we say, okay, we got to make sure we're going to call them back tomorrow. If they don't call us back first, we're going to call them back tomorrow. So what I'm suggesting is that you have processes in place that work for you. So what am I going to do? I'm going to follow up. So let's just say we're going to wait 24 hours, right? And then we're going to send them another email, right? In that email, we're going to have a link to our calendar. Hey, we saw that you were interested in our services and we really want to talk to you, really excited about what we can do, how we can help you with your business, or whatever it is that you want to say to that customer. And we're going to send that email. And we're going to automate this. So my sales team, the only thing you have to do from the time the customer fills out the form to this point is make that initial call, right? And so we may want to say we have a goal. So what's our goal? We want to talk to them, right? So let's say our goal is talk to them. That's our goal. We want to talk to the customer. But let's say, 48 hours goes by, or let's just give them a little, let's say 72 hours goes by. And we still haven't heard from them, right? We send them another message. Maybe set a task to call again. So we set a task to call again. We're going to call them, we're going to email them. Then, in this case, let's go ahead, let's say we're going to wait, I don't know, let's wait 5 days, 7 days, let's wait a week. Let's say 5 days. You want to try to still get them while they're hot somewhat. Depending on your industry, things might move very fast. So at this point, I'm assuming within 5 days, hopefully, they're going to meet our goal. And what we're going to do here actually is kind of run out of room here. We're just going to wait until our goal is met. So we're waiting until our goal is met, right? But if our goal isn't met, then what? So if we're waiting here, and I'm going to say, we wait here. Let's take this one out. We said we're going to wait here 5 days. So if we're going to wait there 5 days, and if we don't get a scheduled call with them within 5 days, then we want to do something else. So in this case, what I'm going to say is, okay, by this time, we attempted to reach out once. It wasn't successful. We waited 24 hours. We sent a follow-up email. Nothing, right? 72 hours goes by. We don't hear anything. So then we're going to send another email, and we set another task to call. We're going to wait 5 days after the call and the next email. Then, if we don't talk to the customer within that time, we want to do something else with them. At this point, let's just say they're not interested, or we're assuming maybe they're not interested in what we're doing, but we don't want to just throw the client away and never think about them again, right? So let's put them in a nurturing campaign. So we're going to put them in a nurture campaign in order to, and then we're going to stop it there, right? We're going to stop. We're going to put them in a nurturing campaign, and the nurturing campaign is going to work on them to try to get them back here. So the benefit of having a process in place, so right, we're automating our customer call. The benefit of having something like this, and this, yours can be simple, even more simple than this. It can be more complicated. I've built processes where, it's unbelievable how much follow-up we have in them, but because we know that the average time to convert a customer may be longer for that particular industry or that company. So we want to make sure that we're following up for a longer period of time. Now, in this particular case, my employee has only had to reach out twice, but we've interacted with the customer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times we've interacted with the customer throughout, let's say, a week and a half. So 5 times we've interacted with the customer within about a week and a half, and my employee has only had to make a phone call twice, right? So in the sense that he didn't get in contact with the customer, that took him all of, let's say, 10 minutes at the most to make those phone calls, but we've had so many interactions. Now, what happens when they pick up the phone, right? So if they pick up the phone, let's say you have in your system an outcome, right? So in that system, you have an outcome. And based off of that outcome, you're going to determine what the next steps are for that customer. So in this case, let's say that the outcome is a proposal. Sorry guys, I'm writing all my stuff because I know it's going off of the screen. I don't want to cut it off too much. So in this case, we're sending out a proposal to the customer, and we want to assign this to somebody. Let's say we have a different department that creates proposals, right? So we want to assign, get rid of my drawing, guys, don't judge me here. So you're going to assign that to somebody, and you're going to wait for a status, right? Wait for a status update. So in this particular one, I'm not going to go all the way through the process with you guys. I just kind of want to paint a picture for you and kind of show you like what's possible. In a situation like this, we have talked to the customer, we've put an outcome, and then based off the outcome we put, we're assigning a proposal, a task to create a proposal. We're assigning who that task is for, and then we're waiting on the status. What's going on with it? Is it being prepared? Has it been sent to the customer? Is it in the negotiating stage? Where in the process is the proposal? And then you just build on this. You can go all the way through. Proposal sent. Now it's going to wait for something to happen. If we don't get a signed proposal back within 72 hours, automate a follow-up email that goes out and talks to the customer and ask them, hey, have you had a chance to look at the proposal? And you want to make that really personal, right? You don't want it to look like it's coming from like this really branded email. You want that to come like it's as if it's coming from an actual team, right? From the actual person on the job. So you want their name in the footer. You don't want it all fancy. You want it very simple. So you send that out to the customer. Automated goes out 72 hours. Hey, have you had a chance to look over the proposal? What did you think, right? You wait for the response. If they respond, then the sales team will get that email, let them know that they responded. If they didn't respond, maybe we wait another 24, 48 hours. And we say, if we haven't received it then, set a task for the sales team to call the customer and try to figure out what's going on, right? So you can just build and build and build until you feel comfortable and you feel like you've done enough to get that client. At the point to when you feel, okay, well, the client didn't move forward with this, maybe there's a reason they didn't move forward. So if you don't get that information, I say drop them into a nurture campaign and just kind of drip on them some more, build some more trust, show them a little bit more value throughout your content on why they should work with you, and then go from there. All right, guys, let's clean this up a little bit. And I want you guys to understand, these are very simple versions of what's possible. I just kind of want to paint a picture for anyone that doesn't have these processes in place, or anyone that's not familiar with how to do it, or doesn't really have a strategy. It's the possibilities are endless, I should say that. A little coffee here, guys, to get me pumped up a little bit. So the next thing that we're going to go ahead and talk about a little bit is going to be automating task creation. Now, we just did some of that, so you can kind of see how, based off of the customer interaction, how we added in tasks, right? We automated that process to create a task for, you can assign that task to whoever the contact owner is, or whatever that may be, right? So when I talk about contact owner, for someone that may not have a system in place, so typically you have some type of customer management system, some type of pipeline. You have somewhere you're keeping your customers. And what we find is that a lot of customers actually have some type of system, right? But they're using it as like a digital Rolodex. So they're not taking full advantage of the tools, right? You pay monthly for these tools, you may as well make them work for you. So with that being said, I want to jump a little bit into different ways that you can create these tasks. So let's say in a situation where you have a sales team of, let's say 10 employees, or you have 10 people on your sales team, and you have a consistent flow of leads coming in, and they're all in different stages of your sales pipeline. Well, at the point of whenever your customers need to, I'm sorry, not customers, whenever your sales team needs to interact with your customer, you want to create a task. Otherwise, you're relying on them to remember. And a lot of us are so busy through our day, we're not going to remember every single thing. So in order to make sure your customers are going down a predictable life cycle, you know they're going from here to here, and it's always the same, right? It's your assembly line for your business. You want the same finished product, right? You want the customer to start here, go through these stages, and end up where you want them, which is going to be in your purchase. And I'm doing that backwards for you guys, but you get the point of what I'm trying to say. So it's really important that you are figuring out where do you want your sales team to interact with your customer, right? And put in automation to assign tasks to that customer. So follow up with the customer on this day. Maybe 72 hours after they contact you, 72 hours after you send a proposal. Maybe 2 weeks after you had a meeting with them, or whatever it may be. You want to automate that, right? So every customer that goes to this gets a follow-up in 72 hours. They get a follow-up in 14 days from that last follow-up. They get this email, 2 days after that. Whatever it is, you want to create these tasks to help your team stay on track with your customers. That way nobody falls through the cracks. You don't want a customer to come to you and say, well, I never heard from them again, right? I just, they said they were going to do this and I never heard from them again. And that happens, especially if you're running a lot of leads, a lot of customers. It is really easy to lose track of who's being followed and who's not if you don't have the right systems in place, the right processes in place. So you really want to get into automating that as much as possible. And the nice thing about this is that you can automate based off of your customer's interaction. If a customer did this, then set a task, right? So for example, I may want to say, I send an email to my customer that is a proposal email, right? It has my proposal attached to it. If the customer opens the email, I want to create a task to follow up with them in 24 hours. It's that simple. If they do not open an email, I want to create a task to follow up with them in 72 hours. Maybe give them a little bit more time to see if they open the email or not. So if a customer visits a certain page on my website, customer visits my sales page where I offer my services, maybe I want to tag them as visited, product A sales page. And I want to assign a task to that contact on my sales team to follow up and say, hey, I noticed that you visited our page on, in our case at Processology, you visited our page on creating freedom within your business. Do you have any questions, anything I can help with? And so what that starts to do is it really makes your customer feel like you care about them, right? And really, because you do, right? You definitely care about what the results they get and the outcome. But it lets them feel like you put them in a position where they feel like they're number one in your business. They're your only customer. And that's what you want your customers to feel like. You want them to know you're on top of it, that you are thinking about their business, you're working on their business, that they're not forgotten about. They're not just another customer in a big bucket of customers or leads in a big bucket of leads. You actually care that their business gets the results that you're promising to them. So that's how you would automate. Those are just a few examples on how you would automate tasks. Again, in these videos, we are trying to paint a picture for you. We're trying to show you what's possible within your business. If a good example is, what I would like to do actually is go through an example of an actual business type. So let's look at that. I don't know if you guys have followed me on other things, but I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm a big guy, but I love using a cake business as an example, and I have no clue why. It just kind of popped in my head. But let's say that you're a cake company, right? You bake cakes and you have a website or a landing page where you collect leads. Let's just, in this case, let's say you're getting leads from Facebook ads, right? You're targeting individuals that are looking at wedding stuff, right? So you want to get wedding cakes. So let's say you have, in this case, a landing page. All right, so this is going to be your page. And then you're going to wait for that customer to submit a form. Right? So you're waiting for them to submit a form. Now, if this was my business, what I would do is have some type of, like, once I get the initial lead information, right? So once I collect the name, the number, the name, the email, and maybe a phone number, I'm going to ask a few questions, right? Because I want to know beforehand, before I talk to them, I want to get an idea on what they're looking for. I want to get an idea on what stage in the process they're in, right? So, when is your wedding date, right? Is it in the next 3 months? Is it in the next 30 days? Is it in the next 2 years? When are you planning to get married? What this is going to allow me to do by figuring out something like that is I'm going to be able to really kind of segment them into customers that need immediate attention. I might want to be a little bit more aggressive with my marketing, versus customers that are really out and they're right now just kind of searching around, trying to get ideas, trying to figure out. They're really just researching, right? They're not buyers right now. So I'll kind of want to segment that a little bit and say, if somebody tells me they're getting married in 30 days and they need a cake, right? This is somebody that I want to be a little more aggressive with. So I may have a separate path for them to go down, right? So everybody, my goal is to get a cake purchase for everybody, right? So my goal down here is for them to buy a cake, right? So my goal is for them to buy a cake. That's everybody, no matter where they are. But the person that is 2 years from now, I may, you want to follow up with them to see. Maybe they want to book their cake right now. Maybe you're so in demand, or maybe, you have a waiting list. Maybe they need to get on the books right now. So you definitely want to follow up with them initially. But if they're not biting, you may want to spend less time on them and put them into a nurturing campaign that feeds them a little at a time, right? Give them a little bit of a taste of what you're doing and just build on that and build on that relationship. Then when it gets closer, right? So in my case, I would have a field in my system that has their due date. And when they're within, I would do a little research, figure out, at what's the average time somebody purchases a cake prior to their wedding, and I would build my campaign based off that. So in our case, let's say 90 days. So 90 days before their wedding date, they typically, the average person is purchasing my cake. So then I would drip on and keep them in the nurturing campaign. And I would have a condition that says, based off of the wedding date, when it's within 60 days of that wedding date, to move them to this campaign. A campaign that's a little more aggressive, maybe, weddings within the next 60 days campaign. And then I'm going to put them in that campaign that's going to be a little bit more aggressive. Hey, we know that your wedding is coming up on the blank, right? We're going to fill that in because we have their wedding date. Why not fill in and make it feel personalized to them? Congratulations, we're so happy for you. We can't wait to see what your cake looks like when it's finished, right? You want to get them excited, you want to get them thinking about it. So, just to get back to our example, I kind of off on a little thing because I wanted to paint a picture of what happens for somebody that's not going to be an immediate buyer. But in this case, they fill it out, and then I'm going to send them immediately to my questionnaire, right? So that's another form. And this one is going to be running out of room here, guys. So this one is going to go to my questionnaire, and that's all my stuff. So let me redo that because that is terrible. All right, so this one's going to go to my questionnaire. After they fill out the questionnaire, we're going to send them to the thank you page. Right? And then what's going to happen is they're going to go into, from our page here, to our form, to our questionnaire, to a thank you page. Now, a better way to actually do this, if you really want to take advantage of some automation, would be to not send them to a thank you page at this stage, but to have them schedule their appointment. So, to have them schedule an appointment. So the nice thing about this is that they went to your sales page, they filled out the lead information you need just in case they don't complete the rest of the steps. You still have some information to reach them. They fill out the qualification form, questionnaire. Then they book their time for you. So the beautiful thing is now you have a system in place that from start to finish, it just books an appointment for your sales team or whoever's in charge of sales at your company to just go ahead and jump in, give them a call, and talk to them, and use the information they got from the questionnaire to help close that deal. Now, so maybe here, you're gonna send them an email, right? Confirmation email. That's gonna confirm the time of the appointment. It's gonna talk about excitement. It's gonna talk about maybe give them some tips on planning a wedding or picking out a cake, whatever that might be for your business. But you wanna give them something, right? But what happens, so we're talking about helping your sales team, helping your pipeline, task creation, follow-up. What happens if they visit your page, they fill out the first form, but they don't complete the questionnaire, or they don't schedule the appointment, right? What happens? In this case, now your employee needs to try to call them to get this information, and you may skip this if they're on the phone. You might just ask them all the questions you need right there, but then they may not answer, right? So what happens? So you want to kind of have something in place that's somewhat similar to like a abandonment cart kind of thing, right? So let's say they don't do this. So what I may want to do is send them down here and then send them a series of emails, right? And the goal of these emails is to get them here. So these emails are saying, hey, we see that you were interested in a cake. You might want to say wedding cake because you know what landing page you went to. Hey, we see that you were interested in the wedding cake, but you didn't complete the questionnaire. Did something go wrong? Is there anything that I can help with, right? Reply to this email if you need help with something. Or click on this link to complete the process, complete the questionnaire so we can help you get your dream cake, right? So boom, it's gonna send an email, wait 72 hours if they haven't accomplished our goal, then it's gonna send another email. Then at this point, if we don't get anything, you may want to send them to, again, a nurturing campaign. So you may want to send them to a nurturing campaign. So if they don't do nothing, boom, send them to a nurturing campaign. And start dripping on them, try to get them back to the start of the line, go through the process again. Now, let's say they complete the questionnaire, but they don't schedule an appointment, right? Same thing, series of emails. Right? And we're trying to get them to that stage. So, hey, we see you completed our form on our website. We see that you completed the questionnaire, but you didn't actually tell us when you had time to talk. And we're going to send them back to that stage of actually picking a time, getting the confirmation email, and then our sales team can reach out and do everything else. So once they get this confirmation, right, then we're going to assign somebody to them to call, right? So let's assign someone. Then we're going to create a task to call. Then we want an outcome. All right, so once they complete all the stages in our pipeline, they've confirmed, we've assigned somebody to call them, we've created the task for that person to call, and then we're waiting on an outcome, right? And then hopefully that outcome is going to be that they purchase a cake. And then you can put in other automation. If they went through this entire process but they didn't purchase a cake, you can put them into again, either for the outcome, maybe they won't purchase, and you want to send them to the nurture campaign as well for whatever reason. And you can really build on it. One of the things I stress to my clients is that you can get as simple or as complicated as you want depending on the needs of your company. If you're a small company and you're just getting started, keep it simple and build on it. If you're a company that already has a pretty complex process and you're just trying to figure out how to streamline and how to create some freedom, then that's when I would suggest doing something a little bit more complicated that makes it easier on your sales team. So the back end may be complicated, but once it's done, it's going to be very simple for your business because you're taking out 20, 30 steps your sales team is probably currently doing and breaking it down to where they're only doing 1 or 2 steps within that process, or a couple more depending on the situation. All right, guys, so we've talked about automating your business, your customer follow-up. We've talked about task creation. Now, a little bit on the sales pipeline stages. What I mean when I say sales pipeline stages, what I'll probably do when I talk about the sales pipeline stages is also kind of put in the proposal as well, because it's very similar, similar stuff. So when we talk about our sales pipeline, typically a company has a pipeline of, let's say, in this case, let's just say not started, right? So you have this sales pipeline, then you have, let's say, your next one, let's just say that you've talked to them, right? So let's just say call complete. Sorry, as I don't know, I'm a little off today. So call complete. I'm not going to write all these out just because I'm going to run out of room here. So call complete. Let's say at this point, you haven't made a call. At this point, you've made a call, and let's say, so let's say we're going to create the proposal. So at this point, we're creating a proposal. The proposal sent, and just for the sake of keeping it short, guys, I'm gonna just put accepted. All right. So in this case, so in this case, you get started, call completed, you create a proposal, you send the proposal, and it's been accepted, right? Or in that case, it could be one, whatever your pipeline looks like. So how do you get from here to here to here to here to here, right? A lot of us are doing this manually right now. But my suggestion is you make this very simple. If they're here, customer completes a call, your salesman completes a call, then it's just easy for them to mark that they completed a call, right? So that moves the customer, have automation in place. If a call is logged, move them from here to here, right? Or have a drop down with your stages in it, so it automatically moves them through. Proposal being created. So what I would do is, based on this stage, right, I would have some automation in place. Based on our call, we want to know our outcome. Based on that outcome, we are going to assign somebody to create a proposal. So if the proposal is success, if the call goes great, then we want to send proposal, right? So send proposal. Then we want this thing to go over here and run this process. So we're going to create a proposal, and then once the proposal is done, then we're going to say sent, which then moves the client into the sent stage, right? So they've updated the pipeline status to sent, automatically moves the customer over here. Now, where the real automation starts to come in place is the communication here, right? So at this point, you've done the call, you've put that the outcome is send. So maybe based off of this, you want to assign a person, create a task, but over here, you also want to email the customer and say, hey, it was great having a conversation with you. I'm really excited about the future, working with you on your business and about blah, 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 whatever, fill in the blanks of what you talked about in that meeting, right? And that way it's kind of first person. When you talk, you sit down and follow up with the customer. Over here, when you assign it, you also maybe create a task with a due date, send a proposal within 24 hours. Once the proposal is sent, right, so in this case, I may want to send my proposal through e-sign. So I'm sending it to e-sign, and I'm waiting for my e-sign software to talk to my CRM software and tell it that the software's been sent. You maybe want to have maybe in your pipeline you want something of sort. I think your pipeline is simple, but maybe you want a stage, what's the proposal status, and you can have one viewed, so the system automatically updates the CRM once the proposal has been viewed, or something of that sort. But once it's sent out, the client is moving to the proposal sent. They get an email saying, hey, we sent you a proposal, let's set up a time to talk. So maybe you want to send a link to your calendar. What's the time that works for you? Maybe you don't want to send a proposal to e-sign, maybe you want to go through this with it manually. So once a proposal is created, you can send an automated email out that says proposal is ready. Please schedule time on the calendar so we can go through the proposal. Automate that process. So once they pick the time, then boom. Maybe you want to move them to a stage that says proposal review scheduled, whatever it may be, right? So you want to move them to those stages. But my point is you want to use the automation to send out the emails, to create the tasks, to do all the things in your pipeline in order to save your team time, right? You don't want them to have to type out an email every time you need to send a proposal, or go and type out a task every time they need to create something. You're doing repetitive tasks over and over and over. Have your system automate that, save your team time, create freedom, because now they don't have as big as a workload. And because they don't have as big as a workload, they're able to focus on other things. They're able to do their job better, right? You're going to get better results. The quality of their work is going to be higher. When you have stressed out employees, when you have employees that don't have time, they're running from this to that to this to that to that, it gets a little overwhelming. As entrepreneurs, we know the same thing. We wear a lot of hats in our business, especially if you're a small and medium-sized business. So you want to put things in place that are going to start creating that freedom, that are going to start making it easier to run your business, right? Use the software, use the tools, use the things that are going to allow you to live your big dream. So let me go ahead and erase this. I hope that, I know, guys, like I said earlier, these are all very basic. I try to explain things as simple as possible because I don't know if you guys have seen my recent post. If you're not following us on social media, you can follow us at Processology on most social media sites like Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as Twitter. So if you're not, and YouTube as well. So if you're not following us on that social media, I definitely recommend it. We're always posting some really funny stuff, cool stuff, and it's just kind of showing you guys what we're doing. Try to post motivational things to keep you rolling, keep you focused, and keep you on a path towards growth. So we talk a lot about your big dream, right? So when we're talking about your big dream, when you started your business, you had some dream, right? So you had some dream that was the reason you started your business, right? So we're here at the start, and you're going down this path, and you have a goal. So your dream. Now, the thing is, your dream is more than your business, right? So you started this business when you started for this dream. That could have been, maybe you wanted to take care of your family, you wanted to provide for them, maybe you wanted to help people, maybe you wanted to get to a point in your life where you can retire early and travel, or retire period, and travel the world. Maybe you decide, hey, I'm gonna move out the country, I'm gonna live somewhere else. Whatever that big dream is, it can be even easier than that. Maybe you want your dream car, maybe you want the big house. I don't know what your big dream is, but whatever it is, there is a motivation behind the reason you took the risk to start a business, right? But what happens a lot is that while you see this straight line, that's what we're talking about creating, right? So we're talking about using the Processology formula to create this line. And that's putting the processes in place to attract, offer, deliver, impress, figure out their need, and get referrals. Most businesses aren't doing this. They're taking their clients here, right? Everywhere but here, right? And somehow these will end up here for some clients. But what happens is a lot of these clients are along these other paths because they're confused. They don't know what you want them to do. You don't have a predictable process in place. They're falling off. You're losing people. You're losing interest because nobody wants to work that hard to give you money, right? Nobody. So if you want my money, I need you to make it easy for me to give you my money. I'm not going to work and pay you. So you really want to create a process that is predictable. My client starts here, they go here. And so the point of me putting this together, and the reason why it is about my big dream is because everything that I do in my business, all the customers, all the things that I'm doing, is because I'm trying to realize this big dream. I need to send customers down a path that is designed to realize that big dream, right? It is designed to give me the outcome I wanted when I started a business. Maybe that's, again, helping people. Maybe that's financial success, whatever that might be for you. So with that being said, it is important that you have the right tools to do that. When I say the right tools, it's what are you using, right? All right, so I've worked with clients that don't have any tools. They literally have a notebook. That's how they keep their clients' information. That's how they use that. They use their cell phone, their contact list in their cell phone. That's how they track contacts. And that's their whole system. And for some people it's working, but what it's not doing is creating freedom. So while yes, you may have financial success, what are you sacrificing for that financial success, right? Are you sacrificing your family? Are you sacrificing relationships? Are you sacrificing your dream of traveling, right? Are you letting life pass you by because you're working every day, nonstop, trying to get to a big dream, right? Are you sacrificing the quality of your life to improve your life? And I want you guys to really think about that a little bit on how that makes sense for you. Are you sacrificing the quality of your life in order to try to improve your life, in order to try to realize your big dream? And that I want you to understand that that is not required in order to realize your big dream. You can have both. You can have your big dream of a successful business and desirable life without sacrificing your freedom. We call them super entrepreneurs. So a super entrepreneur, again, is somebody living their big dream without sacrificing their freedom. And with the right tools in place, the right people in place, the right processes in place, you can totally live your big dream without sacrificing freedom. You can live the life you want to live. You can have a regular, 9 to 5. So that way, after 5 o'clock, work's done. You go home, you spend time with family, you have dinner, you go to the movies, you play golf, you watch your kids play, football, baseball, basketball, whatever it is that they do. You take the trip to Italy because you have processes in place where your business does not force you to be there 24/7. And so the tools that you can use, we recommend something like Entreport. We use that for Processology. And Fusionsoft's a great tool as well. HubSpot works. It just kind of depends on your budget when you get to HubSpot, but HubSpot's a good tool as well depending on your industry. Then you can get into tools like Zoho CRM, SalesMate. Zoho CRM has been around for a long time. SalesMate is a little bit of a newer software, but it actually has some nice features depending on your needs. So whenever we work with a client, it's really about figuring out what are you trying to do and what software is going to be the best fit, right? And we're talking financially, which one's going to be the best fit? Maybe your company can't afford the Bentley of softwares, right? But maybe you don't actually need the Bentley of softwares right now. So maybe you don't need it at all. So it's really about figuring out what is the strategy, what does the processes look like, and what's going to be the best tool to help you realize that big dream that you have. So I'll put some links to that under the video. So when you guys are on our inside the portal, you can actually click on some of those links to see some of that software if you want to take a look at it. If you are unsure about what's going to be best for you, you can always schedule a discovery call with us. If you go to processology.net, you can schedule a discovery call and we'll try to figure out what your goals are, what your challenges are, and what would be the best route for you to move forward, what softwares will work best for you. And that's a free call. We don't believe in hard sales, guys. Either you want to grow your business or you want to create freedom in your business or you don't. We're here when you're ready. When you're ready to make a change in your life, in your business, for your family, for your own sanity. When you're able to make that change and you want to break the chains of entrepreneurship, we're here for you when you're ready to do that. So anyway, you can do that by scheduling a discovery call with us on processology.net. And I'll put a link to the tools under the video. Now, keeping it simple. We have about 10 minutes or so to talk. We may not need to go that long, but as far as keeping it simple, what does that mean? It means do not add unnecessary steps and stages. It can get really complicated and the process can go on forever and it can get really confusing, right? So what I always suggest is draw out, if you're doing this on your own and you're not working with our team or anything like that, draw out what that process looks like to you, right? So what does that look like? And see if you can go back through it and simplify it. See what you can take out. See what doesn't need to be there. See what you can automate. See what you can do to make it easier for your team, to make it easier for you. And one thing I can tell you is that while I don't suggest automating the business 100%, because you still want some customer interaction, you can get pretty close to taking out some of those repetitive tasks, some of the things that don't need that personal touch of an actual person on the phone talking to somebody. Anything that's done in the background, you can almost automate it. You can have somebody that moves through your process at certain times, depending on how long they've been with you, based on their lead score. You can move them through the process based on emails they're opening, based on pages on your site that they're working with. And then there's so many integrated tools. You can work with other software. So things like if they're in certain audiences on Facebook, do certain things. Like there's so much that you can do to create that freedom in your life, guys. I really, really, really urge you to do the research or talk to someone that knows what they're doing. If you have not put the right process in place in your business, you're just moving in circles. You're just going in circles. You're not getting to your big dream, or your big dream's here and you're just over here doing donuts. So definitely recommend you put a process in place that's going to get you from A to Z. That way you can get to that big dream that you want, right? That way you can get to that vision, that business you envisioned, or that life you envisioned when you started. The other thing that I want to mention is having the right people. That's important. When you have the right tools in place and you have the right people in place, things run smoothly, right? People that understand your product, your employees, the people you work with, your vendors, make sure they understand your mission, what you're trying to do, and the path that you're taking your customers down, because that's also going to help make things run smooth. If you have a team that doesn't know what they're talking about, you may be putting one thing on landing pages, one thing on Facebook, and then your team is saying something totally different when the customer calls in. That is the quickest way to turn a customer away from your business. So you want to make sure that your message is consistent. So guys, again, keep it simple. Try to, don't bug a customer. I don't like bugging customers. You don't want to send a customer an email every day, a call every day. You don't want to text them 2 or 3 times a day. You want to kind of space it out a little bit. Give them a little bit of time to react. And then pick a time limit, right? So they say the average time to close a deal is about 7 interactions, right? 7 phone calls, 7 emails, whatever it may be. So keep that in mind when you're planning. Don't do 20 interactions. There's a point to where you leave them alone, you put them in a nurturing campaign, and you send them valuable information. You send them tips. You help them with whatever problem they're having, and then you suggest, hey, maybe this is the right time for you to talk with one of our team members about how to do A, B, C, whatever it is that you're offering to your customers. Because your customers may not be ready right now, right? It's like we talked about cakes earlier, baking the cake. That cake may not be ready to pull out the oven, right? You may let it bake a little bit longer. So, and that's where your nurturing comes in. You're baking that cake, right? You're kind of getting the customer to build trust with you. You're getting them to know your brand, to build some familiarity with your brand. And once they trust you, once they listen into your videos, seeing your messages, seeing your emails, whatever it is that you're putting out, they start to build that trust. They start to interact. They start to engage with you, right? They get excited about what's going on. They start to see these new possibilities for their business or for their challenge. So no matter what kind of business you're in, you can use process development and automation. You can use these tools that we're talking about. You can use the Processology formula to help create freedom in your business. I don't care what type of business it is. It may be more complicated for your business type, but it is totally possible to do. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining me today with the Freedom for All Inner Circle. I hope you got some value. I hope you saw some ways that you can start creating freedom for your sales team. If you guys ever want to talk directly, again, book your discovery call by going to processology.net. Love to talk with you guys. Love to see what we can do. If you guys don't already know, this is my passion. This is what I do. I've opened several businesses. I've had some success, but like all business owners, I've also had some failures, some learning experiences. So I would love to show you how you can create this freedom in your business, how you can create success, how you can grow without necessarily growing your expenses. So especially if you already have tools, right? If you're already using some of these tools and you just don't have this stuff in place, I mean, it's sitting in your face. Like, you have the ability to do everything that I'm talking about if you already use some of these tools that I mentioned earlier. So I definitely recommend reaching out to us. Again, like I was going to say, this is my passion. This is what I love to do. I love helping entrepreneurs create freedom because I personally was sacrificing my freedom before I decided to start Processology. And that's why I'm so passionate about it, because I have seen the effects of not having freedom as an entrepreneur. The things that you sacrifice, the things you give up, the things that you lose that are dear to you because you are chasing your big dream. And I'm here to tell you that you can chase your big dream and not sacrifice that stuff. So anyway, guys, peace out. I'll see you guys in the next one, and take some of this stuff and start implementing in your business. And I hope it works for you. I hope you see the value in it. All right, guys, talk to you later.